Hello everyone, it is Charlotte Eden from the Good Birth Practice and it is 1:30 on the nose on Tuesday the 17th of July, and I am popping on to say hello because I haven't for ages, and because I wanted to talk just a little bit about creating your picture. Look, I've got a funny bit of hair. There we go, let's move that out of my eye. There we go. About creating the picture of a good birth, because excuse me, because a lot of us don't have one, or I didn't have one. Now I do, obviously, and how important that is. And oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have something to drink. Sorry, hang on. I think that's what's making me cough. And it sort of came to me this weekend a little bit because oh god, because so I've been involved in this hypnobirthing lark for 8 years, since 2010, which is when I got pregnant with my first kid, and I have been actively practicing since January 2014. So I'm coming on for 5 years, and God, it's really bad, isn't it? And I've been properly back to it, properly full force, since January this year. So I had a bit of a break for each of the children that came along and building work and all that sort of stuff, but properly in January this year I was like back on it. So you would think, wouldn't you, that I was all over the techniques and totally get it, totally know why we do what we do and how you can use it and how I can apply that elsewhere in my life. However, there are still moments where it kind of surprises me, and this weekend was one of them. So because I'm now not having any more children and child 3 is sort of spending a bit more time in childcare and I can do a bit more stuff on the business, I've spent a lot of time in this last 6 months sort of augmenting what I've been doing. So actually, particularly in the last 2 months, that's been about things like pulling together goodie bags, making sure the workshops work really, really well and are really slick, so applying all of my experience to really make them really valuable to the people who come along. Things like the client area in the website, getting that up and running, working with colleagues to get the bonus video tutorials that are now loaded onto that site, using, digging out all of the birth videos that I know are really useful and getting those in one place so they're accessible and easy to use. And last week was flipping mental, but really good, and I got loads of stuff done and loads of stuff finished. I had a moment at the end of the week. I was filming with somebody on Saturday morning with a company called Woman Meets Motherhood, who are amazing and are doing amazing things for making motherhood less scary and more normal and more accessible. And I was driving back in the car after that, and I just had this moment. I was like, oh, do you know what? It's all falling into place. It all feels really good. And I had this realisation that I made that happen because I had a really good idea about what I wanted my practice to look like. I'm really clear about who it is I want to serve, who my clients are, my kind of best clients are, and who I work best with, and how I want that all to fit together. So because I had that really clear idea, I can see there are a couple of people watching, but I can't see who you are, I'm afraid, because I'm recording it on my phone. So I had a really clear idea about what I wanted that to be like. So therefore, because I had the really clear idea, I really understood what I needed to do to make that happen and the order that it needed to happen in and how it was going to go. So I had this moment, I was like, oh, that's really good, isn't it? Bing! Because that's exactly what we talk about in hypnobirthing, about building for yourself this really clear framework of what your unique and individual birth will look like. And you go about doing that by reading widely and by watching positive birth films to give you kind of the full spectrum, to clarify and confirm and concrete for you the idea that good birth is not one thing. It can be any number of things depending on what's important for you, what's relevant and vital and important for you. And obviously there's a direct correlation between what I've been doing in the business and what you guys are doing in your pregnancy. And I just had like this little light bulb moment where I was like, oh, that's exactly what I've been doing. And that is why it's important for you, because it's really hard to put a plan in place if you don't know where you're going. If you know where you're going and what your plan is, if you can visualise what it's going to look like, how it's going to feel for you, then you can put that plan in place. And it really isn't about the exact nature of it. It's about the feeling of it, how you feel, that you feel confident, that the rapport with the people around you is right, that you feel calm and confident and that things are going in the right direction. And that's definitely a direct correlation of what's happening for me with the Good Birth practice as well, because there are parts of this that aren't necessarily what I thought it would look like at the beginning of the year, but I know it's right because it feels right and I feel calm and I feel that it's all kind of slotting into place. So yeah, I just wanted to come on and partly highlight that even when you think you know it all, you don't know it all. Do I think I know it all? I don't think I know it all, but I think I'm pretty au fait with the techniques. So yeah, so even when you think you're pretty au fait with the techniques, they can still come and surprise you. Also, just to really define how important it is to have a vision for where you're going, and also just say hi, because sometimes I have these things bubbling inside me and I feel like they need to be said. So I've said it. Cool, right, it is now 1:40, which means I've been waffling on for about 7 or 8 minutes. I'm sure it's all been, I hope it's been very useful, and I'll be hopping on again later this week because I've got some more time, and then summer's going to be a bit bonkers because the kids are off, so there might be a little bit less of this. But there are workshops taking place in the middle of August, or a workshop taking place in the middle of August, workshop planned for September, a workshop planned for October, and a new workshop planned for October in partnership with a yoga colleague of mine, which will be fantastic. So I can't wait to get that in play either. Hope you're all well, enjoying the slightly cooler weather, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye. Oh.